A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, not exciting times for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the Chan Eagles, as we love to call them, after crashing out of the African Nations Championship after losing two matches. It was like a comedy of errors today, seeing the Chan Eagles losing 4-0 to Sudan. We'll talk about that. And of course, we'll also be taking a look at the, of course, FIBA men's Afrobasket this time. Hopefully, we will have a conversation with the D-Tigers legend who is standing by to have this conversation with us. We'll also try to preview the UEFA Super Cup, the curtain raiser to football in Europe. We'll do that for you on the show. We'll also take a look at the teams as they are preparing for the season that is upon us. That's the outlook of the show. We urge you to sit back and relax, even as we take you on the trip across the money spirit world of sports. Let me quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Kade Idris joins us now. Greetings to you, Kade. I would have said what a lovely day to talk sports, but the Chan Eagles left a bitter pill in our but nonetheless, thanks for finding time to be with us on the show.
It's always good to be here. Looking forward to Tuesdays always. And you know, like we say in media, even a bad story is good. It's good story for us.
There's nothing like negative publicity. It's all publicity.
It's for us. Every story is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but you know, we're particularly pained because this is our own. Like we say, firstly, we're Nigerians before you know, any other thing. So it's a painful one, but we still need to come here and talk about it. And I've also taken a look at the rundown. At least. There is basketball, there is the D-Tigers. Maybe there is, you know, smile waiting for us just in front.
All right, maybe there is something to smile about later on the show. All right, let's start differently tonight. We will start with basketball. And of course, as we're about to do that, my colleague Osino Konakpan is ready now as we go along on this ride.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed sort of sports. I'm not allowed to say I'm devastated. I mean, I take it for tonight because I'm a Nigerian, a proud Nigerian at that, and because I have good following of the Nigeria Premier Football League, and I've invested quite a number of my time as a journalist covering that. This defeat that Sudan gave to Nigeria at the African Nations Championship, it hit me right here. It was right here. You know, I felt it. 4-0, that's Nigeria's biggest defeat at the African Nations Championship. And I really don't know how to describe this one. But again, it's a reminder that we have not started. Because if you put our league with that of Sudan, Sudan is better, you know? It's better. It just goes to tell you that the talent isn't enough. There's some things that you should have done that will make your league admirable, but it's all good. Well, when we get into that conversation, we'll talk about it big time. We're also going to talk the Afrobasket Championship. You mentioned it. So if we're ready, let's get into that conversation. It's actually 10 years ago that Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the D-Tigers, won their first Afrobasket Championship. It was in Tunisia. I remember like yesterday. Olumide Oyedeji was the captain of the team. Right after that victory, he was with me in the Lagos studio, brought a basketball, signed for it. And since that time, Nigeria, we haven't won an Afrobasket Championship. Can we do it this time around? Olumide Oyedeji joins us on the show tonight. Good evening, legend, champ, everything basketball. Olumide Oyedeji, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Well, great to be here all since I'm feeling you. I mean, I'm just feeling your energy, just as usual. And I just want to say hello to everybody back at the studio out there. And I'm glad and excited to be here this evening and looking forward to this wonderful program.
Awesome. I see that number 15 jersey. Was it that same jersey that you used when we won the Afrobasket?
Of course, definitely. So that was probably just an iconic number out there, and at the same time, just glad to see the number out there in the Afrobasket. Just put it there. There's a legend at the back. So I mean, just a great pleasure wearing that Nigerian on my chest, carrying the name on my back, and always happy and excited every time I have to call for Nigerian services.
10 years ago, Lumide, Nigeria, Olumide, it's quite disappointing, I must confess. 10 years ago, Nigeria won a made in Afrobasket title, and we have the women that gave us 5 in a row. Olumide, another Afrobasket championship is upon us, and this set of D Tigers replicates what you guys did 10 years ago.
Oh, well, I mean, definitely, I believe, they have the talent, they have the ability, to do the same thing. But unfortunately, we have other countries just catching up with us. But, I have no doubt in my mind, and we have a couple of players. Stan Okoye was a member of that team, of that Afrobasket 2025. You're also talking about a couple of experienced players. And, you look at it like, okay, wow. So this is like this. So, they have a couple of players who have been Olympian. Okogie, Josh Okogie was right there. They have all those other couple of players who are talented enough. And to bring this trophy back home, and after 10 years, I'm happy and excited. Hopefully they can bring it back home. But the unfortunate part of it that you said that all these countries getting catch up with us, and you can see what happened to Guinea. What happened to South Sudan today?
Yeah.
God beating by Guinea. So that means it's going to be wide Afrobasket. And Cameroon is coming too. They get all the players together. You know what? There's no team to be a pushover, but I still have the confidence. Abdulrahman Mohammed, who's the head coach right now, was also part of the coaching staff on winning the Afrobasket in 2015.
Wow, I'll hand you over to Yemi in Lagos, but I'm still coming back to talk about the legacy of that 2015 win. Yemi?
All right, Ludwig, thanks for joining us again. And let me just throw this in quickly. When you look at the current field, you're looking at teams like Tunisia, Angola. You're talking about us probably bringing the trophy back home. And I want to ask, do you see us on the level of these two countries I mentioned or better?
Oh, no. When you're talking about talent, Nigeria, we get a talent. There's no doubt. We definitely get a talent. And it's just, at the same time, the basketball, they have 5 players on the court at the same time. We have 5 players on the basketball court at the same time as well. You just have to just continue to execute and play good defense, and it's just going to be about intensity. We're just not going to lack effort, and we're going to be disciplined, both offensive and defensive, of the court. And also, togetherness. We have to believe themselves. So, you look at all these teams. You also played in Angola. I'm playing in Angola to beat Angola in Angola. I remember 1999 Afrobasket was just like a Wild West. So playing in Angola don't count Angola out for them playing in Angola. So Cote d'Ivoire is another team you're looking at there. I say Cameroon, Tunisia, Senegal. Everything is wide open now, but I still believe in the Tigers. I believe that they have the ability, and they have the talent, and then we'll see how the game goes.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Kaide Idris, let me bring you in. You've listened to the champ, you've listened to the legend. Nigerians always like winning.
Yeah.
Whether we are getting it right at home, it doesn't matter. So how confident, before we take a look at the roster, because that's the next thing we're going to do, how confident are you that the boys will emulate the girls? That's what a lot of us want.
I'm super confident in the team. But over the years, like Austin had painted, I can remember that 2015 win. For those of us who were following basketball, and whether you're a journalist or, a reporter or a regular Nigerian but follows basketball, it was a wild celebration. It felt like a big win because we know how good our teams have been over the past, but they've not been able to close that title. And then it happened in 2015. That's why, like the jersey number that Austin mentioned, those numbers still are, in our heads and all of that. After then, we've also had fantastic team up until now. And my fear is that period of falling short, against these teams. You just mentioned Angola, how fantastic they can be, and they are hosting. Then there is Senegal,
It's back-to-back champions, Tunisia.
Exactly. So, you're talking of proper top teams. As much as we have the talent scattered, maybe what we are scared of is the unity that these teams have, maybe that is where we fall a bit short. And maybe a legend like Olumide Oyedeji, like they say, there could be mentors, for teams, helping them break the psychological circle. So maybe they could help through that phase.
Maybe. All right, let me just go across in a few seconds. Just take a look at the roster. We'll get back to Austin and Olumide to dissect some of these things. Here's the roster. You have Carl Dirichi Ehiogu is a center, Mike Nuga is a guard, Josh Okojie, Caleb Agada, Stan Okoye, who was incidentally in the 2015 team, a man that Olumide Oyedeji knows so well. Emmanuel Omogbo is a power forward, Ugo Simon, a small forward in the team. You're looking at the D Tigers final rosters. Matis Igbanu, Talib Zana, you have Christian Mekwolu, Divine Ike Iwamu, Abdurrahman Mohammed is the head coach, Jalil Akidele is the assistant coach. We'll be expected that these guys go to Angola and, of course, do the unthinkable, defeat all the powerhouses in basketball. On Wednesday, that's tomorrow, that's where our hearts and minds will be when in Angola, the D Tigers face Madagascar in Group B. And of course, Olumide has talked about Tunisia and Cameroon, two teams we need to pay serious attention. It would be good if we get a win. And in Group A, Cote d'Ivoire and Rwanda, Congo and Cape Verde will also take to the field. Okay, this quick one. I did a quick response before I go back to the guys. Nigeria, Madagascar, are we supposed to be worried?
Yeah, I think being worried is a good thing. That is, you respect your opponent. And when you respect your opponent, you bring all of your arsenal. And I think for every game, don't just look at Tunisia and Cameroon. Madagascar is also another team in front of you. In fact, starting so well against Madagascar can propel you into doing well against those two. So we have respect for them. I'm talking of we as Nigerians. The Nigerian D Tigers should also do same. So if you go in there and beat them by 60 points margin, then it's good.
All right. All right. Let me go to Austin, who's probably going to pass the benches all over there. I mean, Austin, does it feel, are you a bit relieved somehow that we will be playing Madagascar first, not Tunisia, not the other team, that Madagascar, because it seems we don't really know much about them at this point?
Yeah, but they've done quite well with their basketball, and Olumide can testify to that. I think this so-called small teams are taking a clue at the big teams, and they're saying, look, Angola can motivate us, Tunisia can motivate us, and if Nigeria isn't ready to motivate us, then they're going to be the team we'll beat. We saw the way this team struggled till the final round of qualifiers to get the ticket to the Afrobasket. Tells you there's something fundamentally wrong right from when we won the Afrobasket in 2015. And if you take a good look at it, that was when the basketball leadership crisis actually started.
Yeah.
There you go. You see, when we say everything rises and falls on leadership, people don't understand. But let me get back to Olumide Oyedeji. Olumide, after we talked today, I went back to that 2015 team. It had you, Ike Diogu, Sheni Lawal, Chamberlain was in that team. Stan Okoye was even trying to get into reckoning. Mike Ume was in that team. Olumide, why didn't we sustain the legacy of that 2015 squad?
But at the same time, what I said, I'm the young shall grow. But yes, I agree with you. We're supposed to have the continuity. You see that some of us are getting just our legs out. I mean, the Afrobasket, I have to call it queen. That was my 20th year to play with the national team, and I played it by the 9 Afrobaskets, and the finally won one, and I'll probably be in the final 5 times. And I came second, fell to Angola all those 4 times when I couldn't make it to the finals. It was kind of tough, but, Diogo was still there for some time. Shem Lawa got injured. So it was some time. And then actually, you have to look at this team. This team actually started getting built from 2012 pre-Olympic qualifier in Caracas. In Caracas, where we did unbelievable. When the people never led by Coach Ayodele Bakare, where nobody ever believed we were going to make it. out of what we did. I mean, we put that number 40 in the world, put that number 5 in the world, put a number 7 on the Olympics. In the world. 35 for the Olympics. So now we went carried it over to 2013. The same team, we added by one. We fell short against Senegal, was unlucky. And now we brought in 1 or 2 players, added to this team, and we won it Afrobasket in 2015. So, and then the continuity, we went to the Olympics in 2016. We had a one change, and during this period, we beat almighty Spain. They were number 2 in the world, and we won a couple of games at the Olympics.
Olumide, yes, you can go lyrical about what you guys did. Why didn't we sustain the legacy? Can you agree that leadership was a big problem with all of this that we built in 2015?
But the one thing I can tell you that there's no leader that wants to fail. Every leader wants to be successful. Every leader wants to make an impact. Every leader wants to kind of just be. If we didn't get it right, we could just say, okay, maybe due to one reason or the other. But I'm sure we will soon get it right. We will get it right because we definitely get it right. But mind you, we qualified for the Olympics. We went to the World Cup in 2020. We went for the Olympics. In the friendly game, we beat the USA. But nevertheless, I mean, we still have to continue to get better. Like you said, from 2016, 2015, that was when we were number 1 in Africa. We were number 15 in the world at a particular time. So now we're like 30-some, but nevertheless, we still always room for improvement, and we'll continue to grow, and we'll continue to get better.
So if you don't answer my question, Olumide, we will stay on the show. Is leadership the problem with our basketball in Nigeria?
I mean, everybody have their own internal crisis, but I'm sure we get there. The credit crisis or no crisis, like I said, we had a crisis in 2017 and 2014. I think after that, of course, we had another election in 2022. I believe that we've been good since then. So that is what the best thing I could tell you. But yes, there was a crisis between 2017 to 2021. So we have it, so then despite the crisis, we still went to the Olympics.
You know
so
what?
2022, let's get it up.
Yeah, Olumide, you know what? I will keep bringing you on this show all through this Afrobasket. And this leadership question, you will always answer it. That's just it. But let's just on a lighter note. In 2015, how much did you get for that Afrobasket win?
I mean, you just want to open it for
How much did you get on a lighter note? What did they give you?
Well, I mean, we only got a 600,000 naira.
But that was enough for you. That's enough. That's enough.
What do you mean? Hey, come on, Austin. What do you mean that is enough for winning Afrobasket the first time ever in Nigeria? Which I'm glad. I give kudos and big thank you to His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What he did now, mind you, the same team that won in Senegal, the female team that won the same Afrobasket the same year we won. They get $150,000, and they have about 3-bedroom condos by the beach in Senegal in the same 2015. Hopefully, I'm telling you myself, we can work on that.
Yeah, Olumide, you know what? Go build that legacy of 2015, and we will get more than $100,000 from the ecosystem. Thank you so much for your time on the show tonight, Olumide Oyedeji. We'll bring you back to analyze the D Tigers when they start playing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. That's it. Former D Tigers, Captain Olumide Oyedeji. Kehinde Idris, in 1 minute, you saw Olumide was trying to dribble me. He didn't have a ball, and was trying to dribble me, but it's clear now that leadership is a big problem with basketball in Nigeria.
Every day, all day in sport, leadership is very, very murky. We say 70% of what happens on match day had happened before match day. 30% is what we see. If we don't tackle leadership, and we'll continue to have results like this. By the way, well done, Olumide. I was a child that I know about that clinic that he has always had back then.
All right. I got to take a pinch there. We need to go on a break right about now. We'll still continue with basketball when we return from the break. But just let our viewers know that on the DSTV platform, that's when we return from the break, you will be on to Inside the Niger Delta, but on all our other platforms, many of them, you'll still be with us. We'll still be talking sports and everything in between. Let's go for that break. We'll return for more Sports Tonight.
$100,000 US for each player.
Vice President Kashim Shettima rolls out a basket of rewards, cash prizes, national honors, and other incentives for Nigeria's victorious the Tigers squad at a colorful reception in Abuja last Monday. It's the nation's way of celebrating history, a record-breaking fifth consecutive crown at the FIBA Women's Afrobasket Championship clinched just a day earlier. The win takes Nigeria's total Afrobasket titles to an astonishing 7. But here is a revealing detail. Out of the 12 players who lifted the trophy, only Funaya Okoro and Mojanato Musa played in the Nigerian Women's Basketball League before heading abroad. The rest were either born in the United States or started their basketball journeys there. It's a team makeup that has stirred debate over the state and future of the domestic game.
Every time we're going to play competition, we're running to America to grab people to play for us. We must have solid foundation here in Nigeria. If not, we are all these things, winning or not winning, don't make any sense to me. Grassroots is very important because the coaches here are supposed to be working. We are not working.
You can't stop them from traveling, and you can't say because we want to have home people inside. Yes, so they must stay from here. If our best are in Cotonou, we'll use them. If the best are in France, we'll use them.
Back home, basketball struggles with poor league administration and a shortage of quality facilities, raising questions about what becomes of homegrown talents.
A lot of program for the kids. Like now we're having this summer, we're supposed to play a lot of grassroots program, under 12, under 10, all those things. When I travel, when we go and play under there's a tournament called mini basketball for under 7 to 11. You know, if you can start playing at that age, we get there. But you know that you only depend on national teams at national level. No. Let's start from the grassroots. Let's develop the game here first. And we're going to get there. We have talent in this country.
I think we have to overhaul the federation. Winning the African Championship and not developing Nigerian basketball at home is no progress. It's just having an upstairs without a foundation. So I will advise that we must overhaul Nigerian Basketball Federation.
And so as the champagne cork pops and the applause fades, attention shifts to the home court. The challenge is clear. Build a solid local structure so that the Tigers' winning story isn't just celebrated, but sustained.
All right, a wonderful report put together by our colleague, Dubno Diokonza. And one of the lines in that report, Austin, is build a sustainable local league so that the success of the D-Tigress will not just be celebrated, but it will open the doors for progress in basketball. I think that's the issue. Kehinde Idris, I'm going to expose him on national TV, said we've said, all of the respondents, all the people who spoke, we've said some of these things, we are tired of hearing them, we've said it. But at this moment when D-Tigress is won, hopefully D-Tigers will join them, we need to do something about the domestic league so that winning can be repeated.
It is what it is. I mean, it's clear, you know. It is what you sow, you reap. Check, for instance, what Sudan did to our home Super Eagles. They are reaping the benefits of what they've done. Because of the war in that country, the league has been suspended for over a year. But you can see that the structure that they have is still yielding results. You know, back in the day when we used to do so well with our basketball, you could tell that we had a good league structure. Mojana to Musa came out of the league. Ifunaya Okoro came out of the league. But if you check the bulk of the D-Tigers team now, they are all foreign players, you know, and they are doing that well because I've said it over and over again. They're coming from where there is a sound, productive system and structure, you know, and that's what you need to keep talent boiling. So, but unfortunately, we need to keep talking about it. These guys must know that we will not get tired of reminding them that, look, there's so much you can do with planning. For instance, again, we just talked to Lumide Oyedeji, one with a solid team in 2015. That we had the league going for a bit at the time, but no legacy. We did nothing with that win. Absolutely nothing. After that win, that was it. And that structure, we started building it since 2010. Let's call it a 5-year structure. And it yielded results in 2015. Tells you that when you put smart work into hard work, you must get results. They got to the final in 2013. They qualified for the Olympics. They won the Afrobasket. There was a bit of a structure, a system, happening there. But we went to sleep. Now, we have won Afrobasket for the women 5 times in a row. Banks, corporate organizations, they are giving the Tigress money. I'm not saying don't give them money, but no one is looking at the system, at the structure, and saying, let's invest into it because this is what will give us long-term benefits. You hear me?
Kate Idris, a word before we go?
Yeah. I've said probably one day, someday, we'll get to that point where win now syndrome will be out of our head. We continue every day to do a win now syndrome. That is why if we have an under 17 world competition, we want to win it because all we do is win now. So hopefully someday we'll get past that, and then winning will be a part of us after we put in, the sacrifices.
Well said, well said. Hopefully we'll be able to tone down celebrations. In the heat of celebration, look at what needs to be done. All right, let's move to football now. King of sport, they call it. Wasn't a good outing for the Super Eagles Team B. We didn't see this coming, to be honest. Everything looked as if it was going to go our way. I'm going to go across in a bit to talk about the results in Group B. Wasn't what we expected. Like I said, even if you were a pessimist, I know people who criticize the domestic league. None of them would have expected that Sudan would beat us 4-0. At 2-0, I stood up, got disinterested, and when I saw 4-0 then, I didn't know what to say. Senegal and Congo, you could see the fight. They played like champions, got the equalizer, and they almost won the game. Senegal and Congo ended 1-1, and Senegal in pole position to qualify from that group. There you have Sudan hitting Nigeria 4 goals. Kaide Idris, I want to come to you because, Group D is where we're going to stay. We all hailed, and I don't know if we're going to hit our words, we all hailed the selection of players.
Yeah.
We all said this is probably the best crop, best representation of the domestic league. So, based on all of that, we can form a baseline and say talent wasn't the problem. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally can agree.
In spite of the loss?
Yes. And the first game really did tell the story against Senegal. See, I'm somebody who, whether it's a football club I love or a national team I love, I watch a football game to the D. Everything. Even if you're losing 5-0, I still want to watch because I just want to have a hold of every story. But for today, in fact, the game against Senegal, there was a time I turned off my face. Because it wasn't about the results, Yemi. It was about the play. How were you playing? That was where I had issues. Against Sudan, it wasn't about Sudan scoring 4 goals. There are times you hear gallant losers. Not because they weren't walloped, not because they weren't beaten, but everybody who saw that game knew it was just a moment or moments.
2
that the
out
other
of
team
these
took.
4 goals were gifts.
Same with the Senegal win. The Senegal win, 1-0 win against Nigeria, was a proper gift.
You know what? I'm going to get back to it, but let me get to Austin. Something I want to get out of my mind. Austin didn't let us rest, was questioning the media officer, questioning everybody, left, right, and center. He was asking the question that has come to the fore now because Nigerians won't let it rest. The role of Eric Shell in this team. Because a lot of people would argue and say the the local coaches, are with these players. They know them better. Would they have done a better job? Is that the reason we didn't get? I mean, is it a reasonable question to ask?
Of course, 100%. I was already asking it. I even said it to Eric Shell. I was with him in London after the Unity Cup. We had a conversation for almost 1 hour, and I said to him that, look, with this home-based team, what do you want to do with them, And I think he mentioned that he will supervise the team, because he has worked with some of them for the Unity Cup in London. And if I was Eric Shell, I would just watch, because there is a big assignment. Now, this has soiled it. And Nigerian football fans, they are very unforgiving, and they don't forget. Now, everybody's saying Eric Shell cannot lead the Super Eagles anymore. Eric Shell cannot take us to the World Cup. And you see, all of this is data mining. You don't need this type of comments when you're getting ready to go and play a very crucial World Cup qualifying game, So, Yemi, it's his loss. That's what it is. He was in charge of the team. So he couldn't beat Sudan 4-0. But if you said you will be there, I think the late Stephen Kesh, I can't remember which coach was at the sideline, and then just watch the home-based, coaches to just do the thing, Very, very important, particularly that contract that was quoting that day to Promise Efoge. It said that Eric Shell will go to the African Nations Championship on a supervisory role, But I understand the man's passion. He's willing to push his game project. He's been talking about building a style, an identity for the Super Eagles. But this is a big, big dent, Kehinde Idris. I don't know how they're going to come out of it, but they just need to pick themselves back up. Today they were clueless. There was this gra-gra, this hesitant football, kick and follow, no coordination. I don't know, Kehinde Idris, where are they going to go from here?
I don't know either. I've told people before the competition, I said, yes, it's a fantastic setup, but the Chan have not really been one of the teams, I've trusted. I also was trying to give Eric Sekou another chance after the Zimbabwe game. Maybe was thrown in the heat of things, into the deep waters when everything was already very murky and all of that. But this Chan, I think, had done further damage to his image, and not helped by what the league has already been about. Now, we're understanding that so many shenanigans we hear in the league, whether you like it or not, these are the players who are involved in that league that has so many things that we complain about the ills. And it's telling. Now you see very lethargic way of attending to issues from these players. You see very lackadaisical attitude, in the way they play the football. Now, the question I even have at the back of my head is this the same tactical approach from the coach, or the players are not interpreting it right on the field? Because if this is the tactical approach from the coach, nah. This cannot be the coach to take Super Eagles to wherever they want to be. But if it is not, and it is the player, then everybody who is in charge of the league should have tears in their eyes right now. Because it's poor. Like I had said, watching Senegal, watching Sudan, trust me, there is nothing to write home about. In fact, even as a reporter, it feels very sad that you're selling this league that these players have come from to people. That is, come and watch the league, is our top league. I think it's sad. It's so unforgiving that you sold this league that these players have come from. So it's everything.
Kehinde, let me butt in. Now, it presents, it's not even a dilemma, it's a trilemma. Because we're looking at all, on one hand, you are refusing to agree that these boys don't have talent. We are all refusing to agree they are talented. If they are, the defense was 6 and 7s, schoolboy errors. They were clearing the ball as if that was the only thing available to do.
You can't string passes.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Put mildly, it was horrible.
Very horrible.
Mildly put, horrible. And if this is the best that we have, I agree with you that we should hold our hands, cover our faces. Yeah. That's the problem. If these guys are as good as we say they are, what happened? It's not the result.
It's not.
I agree with you on that. It's the way they play.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's
I
just
totally
the way they
agree.
play. And it's sad. I mean, if it was South Africa, Egypt, Algeria,
maybe they would have been forgiven.
Sudan, a country that has not played for 1 year, and
but that's the point actually. That at this African Nations Championship and with club league football in Africa, anything can pop up and just do their thing. But I totally agree with you that it is the way you lose a game that matters. You know, I thought that they had the momentum when they scored that goal and it was cancelled. You pick the game right from that, you know. You start getting, you take control, you take charge, play purposeful football. There's this thing about wanting to play to impress. Everybody wants to run, wants to get the ball. Nobody is trying to get into position. Nobody is trying to do something creative. It's unfortunate because when I have a chance to speak with players, I say football is about taking chances. We know what the league is, but now that you have this opportunity, just take a chance. Be your best. Play good football. Sadiq Ismail did a bit of a showing during the Unity Cup, and people talked about him. Sikiru Alimi was a bit decent. We know that he's not up to the standard of the other guys who play in Europe, but he gave a good showing. But with this African Nations Championship, I really pray that they'll pick themselves back up. People back home will now see what we're talking about. Our football has gone beyond kicking the ball. There's a bit of science into it now. A lot that is done in behind the scenes before you come to the pitch to kick football, you know. And that's why you worry for our teams that will come to the continent, because this is a bit of what they're going to go through, Yemi.
This is exactly what is going to happen. One of the positives I thought for having Eric Schell was the fact that maybe we could pick 1 or 2 players, but let's not even go there. I mean, that's off the table with this kind of performance. Let's look at what's going to happen tomorrow quickly as we can before we move on to the UEFA Super Cup. Matches will be played tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Chan, Côte d'Ivoire. This is the UEFA Super Cup. Maybe we'll talk about the Chan some other time. PSG and Tottenham, the venue of that Super Cup game, the curtain raiser for football in Europe, Blue Energy Stadium, Stadio Freely. That is going to be 8 p.m. tomorrow. Idris, at some point, PSG was hammering all English teams until they had a meeting and they decided they had to stop. I don't know if Austin was part of that meeting. And Chelsea bailed them out. So even if PSG beats Tottenham tomorrow, they're not going to have any bragging right because Chelsea had stopped
Jinx
them.
broken.
But they've given Tottenham a template.
Yeah.
Can Tottenham with Thomas Frank exploit? Bear in mind, James Maddison is not going to be there. Heung-min Son is not going to be there. Do they have the materials?
It doesn't look like Tottenham does. I think PSG is still a fantastic team. In fact, I feel they are still the best team in Europe as of now. But that Chelsea game, you cannot get past it 3-0. In fact, PSG looked like they came there to learn football from Chelsea. You know, everything wasn't working right for them. And I think these are the games they will use to remind everybody why they are the top team in Europe. I think they will do a lot of damage to Tottenham Hotspur. But this is the reason why the Americans always say, why will you have a one-legged final? I think Tottenham Hotspur, will suffer in that game. But maybe if it were to be 2-3, they would have learnt maybe 2-3 games to be played.
This man in your picture, Solanke, Sri Lanka, we're Nigerians.
Yeah.
Do you think...
Dominic.
Do you think Heung-min Son, James Maddison not being around, that he would step up and carry the load?
I don't think he will step up. Even while he was at Bournemouth and all of the story, I just feel he's one of those guys who are good with the average team. Coming to a big team, it would just be a buzz, but it would never be, that special player. Okay. And I think that would be proven this coming season.
All right. I mean, I don't know if Austin agrees. Do you think there are players in this Tottenham squad that would step up? There's nothing to say about PSG. They're a good side. They're the best.
Yeah.
So I'm not wasting energy But Tottenham, with Thomas Frank in there now, what can he do? And they don't seem to be busy in the transfer market.
Yeah, but they've got Kudus, so he needs to prove a point in the team. I think Richarlison still has so much to give to the team. Bissouma is pretty decent, But look, this is team football, and that's what Tottenham showed in the Europa Cup final against Manchester United. Team football, popped up for them. But I know it's going to be very difficult against this PSG team that is coming with so much bitterness, bad blood from what happened against Chelsea at the FIFA Club World Cup. But Tottenham needs to prove a point. They need to prove a point that they can be a team without Heung-min Son. They were trying to prove that point that they can be a team without Harry Kane, and it was pretty difficult. They finished 16th on the log in the last league campaign. So Thomas Frank has got a lot of work to do, particularly with the mentality of this team, But hey, with this Super Cup, it's a cup game, Yemi. It can go anywhere. Crystal Palace just showed us against Liverpool, and we are still taking minutes. We are still reading the minutes from that last national meeting we had that PSG should stop beating English teams. So Tottenham, they are going to go back to that document. It's a live document in England. We are updating it. So Chelsea updated it and said, no, these guys, they beat Man City, beat Aston Villa, beat Arsenal, home and away, beat everybody. No, Chelsea, we baptize you, take our mantle and go and stop this. So Tottenham will read that and we'll see what they can do. But of course, the odds favor PSG. But haven't we seen stranger things in football, Yemi? So that's why it's difficult for me to come out now and then call it and say, oh, Tottenham, it's going to be very difficult for them. It's a cup game, and look, with a cup game, the objective is to lift a trophy. So it might just go, the way that you least expect. Kayode, you were laughing. You think football has stopped creating upsets?
Yeah, it was when you said they were trying to prove a point and they won the Europa League where they played Manchester United. As of that time, they were 16 and 17 on the English table. So that's like two blind people playing each other. It's nothing compared to them playing PSG.
The joke was on Manchester United.
It was on Manchester, really. Yeah.
I get it. You are forgiven. Unfortunately, that's where the curtain falls on this edition of Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Still can't get over the fact that it ended Sudan 4, Nigeria 0. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan, and in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, this is a wrap here in Lagos. I want to thank Kehinde Idris for his time. As always, the conversation doesn't end here. We take it out of the studio. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And the 100,000 the president is spreading. Chan Eagles, you missed your chance.
All right. Let's get over it and move on to other things. We'll see what happens. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.